SFA coach, when you look at them offensively and defensively, if I can get your thoughts on challenges that they're going to pose that jump out at you when you look at game film.
Well, it starts with their defensive line. They're long, they're big, they're physical, they're disruptive. They do a good job with their pressures. So that's where they're really good. On the offensive line, they're big. They've done a good job recruiting. They got 2 junior college offensive tackles. They're 6'7", 6'8", over 300 pounds. Are vastly improved there over last year. Quarterback's a winner. Just not like incredible speed back there, but just has a great quickness and awareness and gets the ball out of his hand. Backs are good backs, and they get accurate on special teams. They just look like Colby Carthell's teams. Play hard and well coached, and they'll come in with a chip on their shoulder and be ready to play.
And coach, you talked about not taking the cheese. Does anything specifically need to be said about SFA being an FCS school in terms of preparation for your guys leading up to the ball game? I mean, we hear the term trap game all the time, especially coming off the win. Does that need to be, as a head coach, do you address that at all with your kids this week?
For sure. We played a game with them yesterday. Like, guess how many FCS teams have beaten the FBS school in the last 5 years? Some of the kids said 5, some said 10, some said 15, some said 20, some said 25. But they were for sure it wouldn't be over 30, and the answer is 38, and we don't want to be number 39.
Thank you, Coach.
JJ.
Coach, how much different is your offense going to look this week compared to last week?
We'll never be like an offense of the week. We're going to be who we are. All great offenses have tendencies. That's why they're good. So, it's a firm belief of mine that you get better by doing the same stuff over and over and over again. The old Malcolm Gladwell 10,000-hour rule, I just believe in that. So I would say we've added a little bit of install, but we will do that. Some small steps, JJ, you just can't. There's only 3 real practices before you play. The kids get off on Monday. They're too sore to do anything on Sunday. So you've only got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Friday's a walk. So you got to be smart how much you install. So we'll add a little bit each week, JJ, but it won't be tremendously different than last week.
We got the updated depth chart yesterday, and we saw Jamal move into the starting role at inside linebacker. What did he do to earn that role?
It's funny. I was at dinner Sunday night, and I ran into him, and I asked him how he played, and he said he only played about 10 snaps. So I didn't remember it that way. I said, how'd you play? He said, not very good. So I went and got the stat sheet back out, and he played 36 snaps and had 7 quarterback pressures. And one is just lack of depth of position. It's a very thin position. You'd hate for a true freshman to already be in the lineup this quick. But 2, he's also earned it. He's incredibly smart. He's mature. He came from a great program in Tyler. He's been coached hard his whole life. Comes from a good family, great mother and father. So he's earned it, but also just lack of depth at that position.
We also saw, I guess, Tyler Mankey's not on the depth chart. Is he healthy? And then you also have another true freshman in the backup row, and Avery Morris. What did he do to earn that role?
Well, when Avery got sent to scout team, he was doing a really good job. He started playing with his face mask and playing with his hands. He got a lot more serious, and he basically played his way off the scout team by performing, by playing against our 1s and our 2s very well, which is how you get to play. It always amazes me that kids don't understand that. When you get sent to scout team, show us. Beat our 1s, beat our 2s. You'll get back on that defense 1 and 2 list pretty quick. And Tyler injured his hand, so he had that worked on day before yesterday, and he'll miss some time.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Greg, you're up.
Jeff, we've talked a lot about your connection to Stephen F. Austin this week, but we haven't touched too much on your football playing acumen there. Is there any standout moment from your time as a player, or what do you remember about that experience?
No, I was a walk-on. I was a big fish in a little pond at Gilmer. Thought I was a really good player and got down there to Nacogdoches and realized there's a bunch of good players in the state of Texas. So, I was a walk-on, scout team, backup role, tight end guy. Nothing there. I probably had more stories about intramural basketball shots than I did any performance on the football field, unfortunately.
Got it. And one of your guys I wanted to ask you about here is Charles Wiley. Looking at the tape over the weekend, he seemed to be really disruptive. What did you make of his play on the defensive, linebacker position, defensive end hybrid there?
He plays extremely hard. He's very mature, and it's just the way Chuck is. Chuck is, him and Dingle were good for us because they're older kids that have graduated, and they're just mature. They've been through it before, and they know how to lead a locker room. They know how to, it's just not their words. Dingle and Chuck don't say a lot, just their professionalism, how they show up and punch the time card every day. They're great examples for our younger kids to see how you're supposed to practice and play on Saturdays.
What is it about his skill set that makes him a standout or makes him an effective pass rusher? Is there anything that comes to mind or jumps out right away?
He's got exceptional strength, is one, but it's his motor. It's how much use he brings to practice every day. Chuck loves football. He loves to practice. He loves to play. Very similar to Dingle. You can't have enough of those guys around that love football and love to practice. And that's what both those kids bring.
How much do you know about Chuck's decision to transfer and why he ended up here? I know he had I assume he had a pretty good relationship with Coach Nix, but what can you tell me about that process?
I couldn't tell you anything about it more than I saw he was in the transfer portal. And when we saw that, we started recruiting him. We were blessed to get him.
Is it a challenge for a guy who was playing at an SEC program to come to the Conference USA level and make that transition, or what goes into that?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I'm just glad he's on my squad.